Tyler James Williams is responding to rumors about his sexuality after some speculated whether or not he was gay. In an Instagram story, Williams would let his fans know that although he's not gay, conversations around this topic can be dangerous, as it makes it difficult for those questioning to come out while reinforcing archetypes that many straight men have to live under. In the post, Williams would say, "Being straight doesn't look one way. Being gay doesn't look one way." Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Capone and Pierre, calling into show to give their thoughts and reactions. Now, Pierre, I'm going to come to you first, and I just want to start just with your reaction. Seeing this come to the surface and seeing Tyler have to defend himself, what was your thoughts and reactions to it?
It's some more BS. That's all it is. It's just more BS, you know. Just some bullshit, you know. Just trying to bring the black man down. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You can wear what the hell you want, roll how you want. You know, people think people are gay just for any little minor things. Any minor things.
I cannot wait to see the comment. You look nice, Pierre. I love what you have on.
Thank you. It matches my decor.
It does. Capone, let me come to you. You know, seeing Tyler James have to defend himself, you know, to let people know that he's not gay. What was your reaction and thoughts on that?
When you stop worrying about what people think of you, that's when you stop living. And whatever the situation is, he does not have to prove nothing to nobody. And it just seems that, I don't know why they're saying it. What indication gave it out that he might be gay? He didn't have a girlfriend with him, or he in the last movie or last thing that he acted, did he do something that made his wrist, whatever. But I just feel when you start worrying about what people think about you, that's when you are living.
Yeah, Capone, I think you asked a great question. And to be honest, when I seen this come to the surface, I was asking the same thing, trying to look and see, like, when were people thinking this? So, of course, we did some research. And lately, he has been going on a press run. And I want to read one of the comments from his interview that he did with Jennifer Hudson. Here's what the comment says. "Any man who can sit that way all that time, legs crossed like a woman, is just gay. Sorry, dude, looking real gay." So I want to take a look at this video and come back and get you all's reaction. Let's take a look.
Let's see.
Let's do it.
Y'all want to know, don't you? I heard it in the whoop. Okay.
Now, Pierre, also, you know, with the way they said he was sitting, they were also talking about, you know, the way he dresses. And obviously, it's not your stereotype way that you see, you know, quote unquote, the world sees black men dress. So, Pierre, let me come to you. What's your reaction after that? And then also, as a black man, do you feel like you're limited in how you express yourself because the world is so quick to call things gay if it doesn't fit a certain stereotype?
Oh, shit. Well, I'll say this much. If he was auditioning for a gay character, I would have, you know, casted him. And I'm just going to say it, be 100. I mean, you know, everything rolled that way. But if the man says he's not gay, then he's not gay. And let's say if he were gay and he said he wasn't gay, he don't want y'all to know about it. Why do we need to pry into it and make that a big deal? If the man doesn't want us to know he's gay, if he was gay, or anybody, why do we feel the need, each other feel the need to, you know, expose somebody? Do we feel better about it ourselves now? Like, I caught him. I found out what he did. He's gay. What good does it do? Just tell me what it does for your soul and for who you are as a person to see some, you know, to out somebody else who says they're not that way. But to say what he looked like on there, yes, I know. If it was, I've seen gay people and they've seen that way, looking that way, and I've seen straight people look that way. But it's up to you how you feel. If you feel the need to explore him and call him out, expose him, then that's what it is. But to me, the pressures of being a black man, being virile and strong and all that good stuff is you know, I understand why people feel like the black image is, you know, under, what do you call it, you know, scrutiny or just being torn away. But at the end of the day, gay men have been around forever. Straight men have been around. Manly men have been around forever. You know, if you choose to not like homosexual, then get yourself around those who aren't homosexual and continue to stay around those people. But leave them other people alone. There's people who don't want to be around the type of person that you are. Your kind of group of people. You might be a thug, a weed smoker, a dope head, you know, pill pusher and shit. You know, a partier like that. Somebody might not want to be around you. So make your choices in life, but to out somebody and all that extra stuff and try to make him gay, if he says he's not gay, he's not gay, you know? If he says he's not gay, as far as I'm concerned, he's not gay. I don't give a damn. But if he was auditioning for a movie, he'd have got the part. Gabriel.
Capone, let me come over to you. Pierre acting up with he got a scarf on, his hat and things, so you know he's gonna.
We're chilling.
Capone, let me come to you. I want to get your reaction, Capone. I want to get your reaction to seeing the clip, but then also, same question for you as a black man. You know, is there a lot of pressure to be different or to live outside of the typical stereotype because you're, you know, so quickly to be labeled things such as gay?
Well, he says he's not gay. I don't have nothing against the leg crossing. It was the way he said six. You know, when he said six, that threw me off a little bit. You know, because us, you know, the guys who are not gay, we don't say six like that. He didn't even, like, his teeth didn't separate. It was just like six, one straight word. So. But he says he's not gay, and like Pierre said, if he is, so what? So what? I mean, maybe he doesn't respect. Well, I had an uncle who was like that, who crossed his legs all the time. That's why that don't bother me. We used to say the same thing. Well, why don't you let your legs go? And he used to always, you know, tell us, if you had it like me, you hold it together.
Yeah, and I think too, you know, it's I think people are raised differently too. We don't know what, you know, he was raised around. To me, when I saw him and when I listened to him, I feel like he probably sits at home, listens to classical music, crosses his arm, and just like files his nail to keep himself up. Like, I just feel like he's just one of those men that just, you know, it's different, but I don't, to me, I didn't get gay. That's not the first thing that I thought. You
have to also realize, and I just realized this, he's been doing this for a long time. 5 years old, you know, so there is certain behaviors as an actor, as somebody who's around people of a certain essence, that you have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And I picked that up, you know, like he said, 5 years old around Sesame Street. He's never been around thugs or too much of that stuff. So, yeah,
and we have people like Tyler, the Creator, you know, Tyler, the Creator. We have Andre 3000. We have a lot of artists that, you know, don't necessarily wear the hardcore look, you know? Yeah. And I don't know if Tyler Creator's gay. I don't think Andre 3000, he's not gay, but you know, it's what it is.
All right, well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna be joined by Marcus Board, who's actually going to present a new segment called No Capital, which I'm really excited about. So let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Culture sounds like jumping the broom. Like dancing to Never Too Much with your groom, it sounds like the electric slide. Like so much food on your plate, it starts to curve on the sides, it sounds like Boo Boo the Fool and McDonald's money. And what keeps all of this intact is the simple fact that my mama black.
Joining us, we have Marcus Board with us. Thank you so much, Marcus, for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Take it away. The floor is yours. What do you have for us?
This is a new segment called No Capital. Very happy to be here with you all today. Several parents and adults took it upon themselves to protest a pride assembly at Satakoy Elementary School in Los Angeles. The protest would end in a fight after police officers had to separate those protesting the assembly and those in support. So comedian D.L. Hughley reacted to the news on Instagram saying, quote, "Just FYI, some of those folks showing up on both sides don't even have kids in the school. I remember being in the 5th grade when they would separate the boys and the girls and talk about reproduction. Parents can fight all they want, but the kids are going to learn what they learn from a phone or the street and not really in the classroom," close quote. So we're going to run that clip and get some questions coming in soon.
There was shouting, shoving, and one person was even knocked to the ground outside Satakoy Elementary School in North Hollywood.
I disagree with the fact that a kindergarten should not have to be educated on this. There comes a time and a place where they all do need that education, but kindergarten and elementary is not the place.
In public schools, there's going to be students who have same-sex parents, so we need to talk about that.
The Great Big Book of Families, which discusses LGBTQ families was read.
The book starts off with, once upon a time there was a nuclear family that consisted of a mommy, a daddy, a sister, and a brother. And then it goes on to talk about the different families, and it mentions that families can have 2 daddies and 2 mommies. So the problem that we see is that it starts off as a fairy tale. And what is a fairy tale? It's make-believe. It doesn't exist, right? So you're telling our children at the beginning of the assembly, the nuclear family, the traditional family that my children know is make-believe. And that the reality is the 2 mommies and the 2 daddies.
We went to the educators and we said, what are you going to tell my child when he comes to you and says, what does it mean to have 2 daddies? My mommy was pregnant with me. Which daddy was pregnant? How did the daddy have a baby?
The only thing I would add is that the conversation around kids and protecting our children, we always focus on the content that they're being told, but we rarely focus on the people that they're being exposed to. And I think in a lot of ways, we need to protect those kids from those people who came to a school to protest, when the reality is, why are you protesting with the kids? They don't actually have any say in this. They're just going to school. And so I think one of the things we have to really figure out is how to push back against people who have strong opinions, who have the right to advocate for their own children, but who are also doing it in a way that adds to the threat that queer kids feel, that adds to the threat that Black kids feel, that adds to the problem and distracts, as Capone said, from the bigger issues that we're having in these schools, which is that they're trying to take away more from these children as opposed to adding to them and their futures. So that's all I got for today.
Yeah, no, I love it. I need to call these parents and tell them to show up, because there's a few things that need to be changed in Black history too. Like, I don't think the first thing we should learn about Black people is that we were slaves, because we were people before that. So I need to call those parents and figure out how to get them on the hotline. So when we have,
I mean, Pierre said it earlier too, right? Black people been gay forever, right? So there's been a conversation about Black folks right there, about particular Black communities that hasn't been had. Right, we talked to, we seen Simba and Mufasa laying up real young. We seen Aladdin and Jasmine real young. So telling somebody that somebody got 2 dads and 2 moms maybe isn't crossing the line that we think it's crossing.
Now, Marcus, before you go, let me ask you, are you surprised though? Are you surprised where we are with things, seeing what we're seeing online, seeing this protest? Does it surprise you any?
No, it's not surprising. I mean, I study public opinion, so it's something that I'm pretty well attuned to, the boundaries and limitations that Americans are facing. But I think one of the things that I really want to encourage and something that I advocate for very often is figuring out ways that we can bring people together in conversation. That doesn't mean that people are always going to agree or that people are going to see eye to eye, but figuring out who is actually willing and interested in having a conversation, because that's the line for me. Some people don't want to talk. Then people out there fighting, they don't want to talk. They want smoke. And, we have that too. But the reality is we need to figure out who's on our side enough to be able to push the conversation forward to say, hey, even if we disagree, we all agree that we want to support our kids and bring them into a world that's better than the one that we got.
My curiosity is, what should the conversation be about? What should we sit at the table and have a conversation about? The LGBT community, we know they exist. We respect them. But now it's a whole different thing where it's not even the LGBT community. It's the ones that dress, the drag queens, that's coming into the schools and having sessions with children. Like, what kind of conversation should we sit back and say, well, just let them come and perform for y'all? We don't have these conversations when it comes down to being Black. These conversations are not in an uproar with anything. Police are still killing us. They're doing all kinds of things to us. We don't have equal rights or whatever. Whatever decision that is made in our lives has to come from a white institution. When do we get a say-so in something in our lives that is more important than our kids seeing a bunch of men dressed in women's clothing? That's what I want to understand.
You raised some great points. And I think this is a big part of why I was talking about Black queer history. So Pride started with Black, queer, and trans people, right? Marsha P. Johnson, very famously, was at the center of that riot and protest. And so one of the things that I really want us to talk about is how queer history is Black history, right? And if we can understand the connections between police violence and gender-based violence and sexuality-based violence, right? How Black trans people are killed at a disproportionate rate, how Black trans people are impoverished and their lives are more challenging at a disproportionate rate than if we say that all Black lives matter, then we will be focusing on our queer and our trans brothers and sisters. It's a part of having that conversation to say that, yes, you can absolutely whitewash queer history and the queer experience, but you can also go back and say, hey, there are Black people who are at the center of this movement, who are pushing these conversations in such a way that allows us to push forward as a people, right? When the least of us are free, all of us will be free. And that's kind of the drive that I think we can have a conversation around.
Yeah, I like what Mark said. I agree with a lot of it. But here's the thing. When you have children, your number one job is to protect your children. And however way you feel that protection is. And if you don't want certain information to come into your children's head, you have the right to protest that and say, I don't want my children to hear this now. I have as a parent. Now, maybe my child will go on later on and hear more about the LGBT, the queer, whole group of people, and they would teach their children. But this time right now, it's my job to protect my child. Damn what you want my child to know and hear and say, well, I want your child to hear about everything. I understand that. But it is a right of a parent to say, I want to protect my child from certain things. The way I grew up was this. You may think, well, now it's a change in the guard. You need to be changed. Well, that's you saying that. But right now, I want to protect this child or these children, and I don't want that to come into their minds. Or I will explain to them at home. But then I get the case of CRT. People don't want that in school either, to be taught, racial critical race theory also. But people are fighting for that. I understand that. So we all want to have our foot in in the pot, and to say.
Marcus, let me ask you this, because I think bringing in CRT, obviously that's a big issue right now as well. Do you think, when we're talking about CRT or even having these conversations about the LGBTQ plus community in school, do you think some of these parents have a base, the base of what they're feeling is fear? Do you think some of this is based in fear of why they don't want their kids to be taught or it to be included into their schooling for their kids?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think fear has been the main driving force behind American politics for at least the last 23 years since the Bush administration, if not the last 30 or 40 years since Reagan. One of the big challenges there is that a lot of the normal family structure, normal ideas of sexuality, even just the idea of normal itself is based around being afraid. One of the big questions here, and we can't necessarily think about this issue outside of the broader context of all of the hundreds of laws around the country that are taking women's rights to conceive or to not have kids, that are taking Black history out of schools, that are telling kids that there is a right way to love somebody or someone else, or a right way to have parents or not. Right. One of the bigger issues that this problem, this fear actually reproduces is it creates new closets for people to have to hide in. Right. The closet doesn't exist because gay people exist. The closet exists because homophobic people exist. Right. The closet exists because racist people exist and because we have to hide in public. The closet exists because somebody got pregnant and can't tell somebody about it and can't get the type of care and treatment that they need. These are the reasons why the closets exist. So when these people come out and they say, well, we're just fighting for the rights of our kids, they are using that as an excuse because they do have that power as parents, but they're using that as an excuse to actually push a political agenda that disempowers Black people, that disempowers poor people, that disempowers women and queer people. It pushes all of us to the outside. And the only way that I know of to actually push past that is through a comprehensive conversation, educating ourselves and our allies and our advocates and our accomplices to be able to fight back and empower ourselves to change the direction.
Let me ask you this, Marcus, and this will be my last question. I know I've told you a couple of times it's going to be my last question. And I'm not speaking about anybody here, but just from some of the conversations that I hear, right? Do you think some of that fear is also that if their child is exposed to these things, that their child may become a part of the LGBTQ plus community? Do you think some of that is some of the fear as well? If we're just being straight honest, no capital, no cap.
Right. Of course. I mean, one of the things that happens a lot, and I know I was taught this, is that Black people are more homophobic than any other people, and that's just not true. Right. One of the things that we get taught is that Black people are more biased than other people. Black people are this and that and the third, right? We get told that we're all these different things. And the reality is all communities contain multitudes, right? We do have Black people who are extremely violent and homophobic in the same way that we have Black people who are extremely liberatory and revolutionary. And so people's fear for their children can manifest in any number of ways, but it doesn't have to manifest in violence. That's, for me, I root that into white supremacy, which is why I think critical race theory still does need to be taught, not just at the college and university level, but even down lower to kids and to families. In a lot of ways, what's happening here is that we're teaching children to be more open, to be more inclusive, and they're bringing it back to their parents, and the parents don't want to be taught by their kids. That's the fear I actually think most people face, is that they don't want to be subordinated. They don't want to be taken down by their kids and taught by their kids, because they think if I don't keep on top of them, then I lose whatever power or strength that I think I have in this world. And that's a challenging place to be, right? That's really hard to have a child trying to direct you and lead you into the future. But the reality is every single person that exists will face that. So, you know, you can either get with the future or you can fight it, right? But the reality is if you want to be in community, and this goes back to what Capone was saying about what the conversation is, the conversation is sometimes less about what we're talking about and more about who's willing to be in the room with you. And I think that's what's really important. That tells you who cares, who's committed, and who actually values you and your life. And I think that at the center of it, to what Pierre was saying, has to be what the conversation is about. How do we care about each other better?
Pierre, let me bring you in. What are your thoughts as we close out?
I agree with him again on most of the stuff. But the critical race theory, like I wouldn't teach that to elementary school kids. It's not necessary at that point. You could teach, you could show Black kids playing with white kids and Asians, like as I grew up seeing that in pictures. But to get down to the critical race theory, I don't think, in elementary school is necessary there. It's not, they're not really going to get into feeling that too much until after they get older. So why put that heavy burden on young kids who are just trying to have fun? We are trying to be adults and put it on the young kids. We're grown ass people trying to act like our problem's got to be to the little kids' problem. Let kids be kids until they get out of the kid zone. And then if you're so worried about it, then teach it at home. You know what I'm saying? If you're so worried about it, if not, wait till they get older when they, when they get in junior high school, where they're going to start probably getting around it more of that kind of stuff, and teach them then, or have taught them at home a little bit about it. But to force kids to get into heavy subjects at such a young age is unfair. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about why we bombing certain countries. Russia, we're doing deals with that in elementary school. Why would we? We ain't showing how many people we kill in other countries and take over. We did Saddam Hussein, all that kind of stuff. We don't show that to children and say, listen, this is what we're doing as Americans. We're doing all this stuff. Because it's not time for them to know that. They're kids. Let them rock and roll as being kids and show them good things on, growing up. They're only gonna have a childhood, but one time, shit, why ruin this shit by putting so much pressure on them as a young kid and make them walk by the time they get out of sixth grade, they'd be tired as hell. They'd be hating people and marching and shit and not knowing this and that. Come on, just because you teach don't mean it's gonna be accepted correctly. So let kids be kids until a certain age and then bring them all the bullshit that we adults have in our mind.
Not marching, Pierre. Now, not me gonna see a whole kid.
You know what I'm saying?
No, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Marcus, for bringing this No Capital to us. Before I let you head out, I have to know what you have going on and how can people keep up with all the things that you're doing?
Yeah, I'm a professor at Howard University, teaching in political science department. You can reach me on my website, marcusboard.com. I'm on Instagram, Prof. MBJ, and I'm on Twitter, TikTok, really anywhere you want to find me. But I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to being back.
So we're gonna go quick commercial break. And when we come back, I wanna get your thoughts on one last topic before we close out. Again, thank you, Marcus, and we'll see you next Monday.
Fridays at 8 on Peachtree TV.
Why do you feel it's so important to support Black-owned businesses?
Some of Atlanta's best Black-owned businesses take center stage.
Whoa!
Black Friday Report.
Okay, oh!
Only on Atlanta's own Peachtree TV.
The community is still healing after the unexpected death of Jackie O, the mother of DC Young Fly's children. Since the news, fans and peers of the two have reached out and offered their condolences. Karlous Miller would break his silence over social media to give a message to his comedy brother. Here's what he had to say. Keep God first. You always say that, and you always do that. The definition of a praying man. Anybody that knows you knows that. I've seen you stand tall through it all. Blood couldn't make us any close. You're an extraordinary entertainer and an even better person. I've got nothing but love and respect for you, brother. And there is no doubt in my mind that you're going to move with grace and never lose your faith. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. Family. Now, this unfortunate news would break, and of course, a lot of people are reacting to this. Pierre, I'm going to come to you first. Once you saw this and seen this, surface, what was your reaction to the news?
Of course, like many people, I felt really bad. Such a young lady, a mother of 3 children, it's just, that's just, rough. I didn't really like the way people kind of made her the villain about getting the surgery. She didn't go get that surgery thinking she wasn't going to wake up or whatever the scenario was, would be. And I don't think it's our job, our right to put it on her and blame her and because she had surgery, why women get surgery and all that. Think about it in another way. Some children just lost their mother. Let's think about that first. DC Young lost his spouse, his mate. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than, and it doesn't matter the surgery. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? I feel more, bad. This man has to go through the next, his life without the mother of his children, and he has to explain that, and he has to change his way of moving and grooving out. From what I heard, she did a lot for those children. She was in their children's lives all the time while DC was working and stuff like that. Even DC joked about how hard it was to raise his kids and stuff. So now he has to be in that position. Yes, she has a mother, so the kids have grandparents on both sides that can help. But as a father, and I know DC, he wants to be in the kids' lives hard, a lot more. And he's also a very popular entertainer. So it's gonna be a little rough to be out here trying to do that and tell jokes. But to put her and make her like she's the villain because of this is absolutely nonsense, man. Let's have some grace and mercy for the fact that, she, like I said, someone lost their mother, some kids, and a spouse, just an all-around young lady. We already know that these surgeons could look at Kanye West's mother. We saw what could happen. So we know that. You getting on her about what she did or thinking you're going to help other women not do it is ridiculous because women are still going to do what they're going to do. It's their bodies. They have the right to do what they want to do. But to villainize her and make it seem like she's the wrong one so bad is ridiculous in this scenario, man. Just have more empathy, I think. And I feel for the brother and his kids.
Yeah, no, you said that perfect. Those were definitely my thoughts exactly. Capone, let me come to you. Same thing. Once you saw the news break, what was your reaction to it?
Working with DC, actually spending time with the brother, the kids mean everything to him. And, we talked, and me being a veteran, I explained to him that I lost, families throughout the job, and kind of asked for advice on how to balance it. And it's very, very hard to balance when you start to escalate up that ladder of success, and for her to be that stone, she was a very, very stone to him. And, it was like the perfect storm. And when that storm, something happens and it interrupts the flow of things, it's definitely hard to adjust. And we all know him. He's strong. He's going to make it happen. Never mind what the reason was. Just be that supporter for that young brother because, a thin line between sane and insane from pain can really, really hit you hard. So I suggest anybody who knows him, when I heard it, I reached out to him right away. I didn't even call him. I just texted him, said, if you need me, just hit me up. Because, you never know what a person's mental is at that point. And just everybody coming at you in all kinds of ways. It's a different beast.
Yeah, it's like some people get lost behind the internet and forget that these are real people dealing with real things. We saw Nick Cannon go through this, right? When he lost his son, we saw Nick Cannon continue to work. And a lot of people, you were saying like, hey, Nick Cannon, you need to stop working, slow it down. Capone, let me come to you. We've seen 85 South cancel some of their June shows, obviously. But I want to ask you, I know you said you've given him advice on how to balance things early on, but now I can only think about, when I think about comedians, sometimes I hear that, doing stand-up is like therapy to you also. Sometimes it's, you want to get to it and you want to kind of let it out. But have you ever been in a situation where you lost someone close and had to kind of make that decision of, hey, do I take a break or do I keep going? And if so, what was that like, and what advice would you give to DC at this point?
I deal with it every day. My loss was my mother, 94, the one who actually created this forum for me to become a comedian. And those who know me know I dedicate every show to my mother. I also, that pain never goes away. And I built a company just so I could always remember. And the name of the company is called Mama We Made It, because she's never seen me perform. And so it's for anybody to say, well, it's been a long time, there is no such thing. You have to deal with it every day. Mother's Day comes around all the time. Her birthday comes around all the time. And people who know me, I go away. And I just get my mind together, because the memories that we have of me being a young kid and to see a single mother do what she did for me is priceless. And I'll never get over it. So all I'm gonna tell him is, man, those kids are everything. They're the glue to you. And it's only gonna make you work harder. It's only gonna make you work smarter. And, we all go through something.
Absolutely, and I know you made a beautiful song for Mother's Day as well, that I did get a chance to listen to, so that was pretty awesome as well. Pierre, let me come to you. Same thing. Have you ever lost anyone close to you where you had to make that decision? Do I take a break or do I keep going? If so, if you could kind of give some insight to that, and what advice would you give DC at this time dealing with what he's about to go into?
Yeah, I think almost every comedian, especially if you get to if you've been in the business for 30 years, I mean, you've lost people along the way, be it close friends, parents, or whatever the situation may be. We all handle it differently. Some need to take a break. Some people get right back into work to get them back into the rhythm of this. But the difference here is she was famous. She was a celebrity. He's a celebrity, big time celebrity. Some of us aren't that big, weren't that big. Person who died wasn't that big. My father died. People, my best friend, we don't know that. But he has to go out in public and people know that someone has died publicly, his spouse has died. So it's a whole different feel. It may take him longer. When he gets on stage, people are going to wonder, is he going to crack? Is he going to not be as funny no more? Once, they didn't know that. My father died. They didn't know that. My fans didn't know that, my father had passed away. It was up to me to however I handled it. To by the time I came on stage, it was what it was. But him is a whole different thing. He's in a whole different spotlight, him and she was. So it's going to be I couldn't give him any advice, to be honest with you, because I've never been in that situation where a famous spouse has passed away, or a spouse, but a person that's close to me like that people are going to watch me on stage and wonder, am I okay when I come in public? Are you all right? Be afraid to talk to me and say, oh, I didn't know what to say. And if they see him perform, is he going to be the same DC as before? That's a whole different mindset. So I tell that young man, take as much time as you need. Of course, it's about you. It's not about us, it's about his fans. It's about him. Take what you need. I would say work on the family structure tighter, because like I said, he was a traveler. He wasn't around his kids as much as she was. So they're going to wonder where their mommy is, as it comes up. And he's going to have to fill them shoes to explain to them and be around them a lot more and get that base taken care of first before he goes on the road. Now, again, he's his own man. He can do what he wants to. He can just go tomorrow and go. But obviously, he canceled those dates for a reason, because he needs time to take care of himself. And I think we should open our arms when he comes out and don't put that much pressure or look at him in a different way and say, you're going to be this way, you're going to be that way, how you feeling? Man, just if he's coming out, he's ready to come out to be himself again. And we should treat him as he was before this incident. Be happy around him. If he's doing a comedy show, be ready to laugh. Don't take every joke serious. Oh, why are you saying this joke? Don't do all that. Just go and enjoy himself and be happy that he's back out again doing what he does and loves, and his fan base loves.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's beautiful advice. And to be honest, to say, hey, I've never experienced that before, so I don't know exactly how it's going to be. But I agree with you. I hope that people are just opening up their arms, giving him love. We here at Comedy Hype, we send our condolences to DC Young Fly, as well as Jackie O's family and friends, and just everybody that's been impacted by this, that we're close to them, and extended. So again, thank you all for chiming in on this topic. We definitely send our condolences and love out to DC Young Fly and Miss Jackie O's family and kids. Before we head out, of course, I wanna end on a lighter note. I know you have things going on. Pierre, I'm gonna start with you because you're not going to my hometown, but you're going close. You're going to the Carolinas, and you have a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I told my little sister to come because I know you're going to be hilarious. Tell me a little bit about that show. What do you have coming up? I know that's a big show, so I want people to show up and show out on this show. Tell me what you have coming up, and of course, how can people follow you?
I appreciate it. It's going as you can follow me at Comic Pierre, COMIC But the show is at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm very excited. So like pretty much my own one-man show. I got some hot comics coming on in front of me. So actually really, really funny comedians coming on in front of me. Look, just two of them, my homeboys. But you're going to get to see me for an hour and a half, do my thizzle. I look forward to it. I love Charlotte. I've been to Charlotte several times. Haven't been there in a long time. It's bubbling. People are saying they're buying tickets. Ticket sales looking good. So I'm excited about that. I think we're going to have a pretty packed house. So I look forward to it. And I like Charlotte, man. Charlotte's a baby Atlanta. I know y'all hate hearing that, Charlotte. You know, like, we ain't no damn baby Atlanta. But trust me, the baby's in a good way. You know, like murder and crime ain't there as much as in Atlanta. I'm sorry to say that. But I'm looking to bring the heat, y'all. I'm bringing the heat to Charlotte. If you like me, you see me on this show all the time, you like me, come out and see me this Wednesday night, 7 p.m. at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll be there. And guess what? Let's get ready. Get them cameras ready. Get them phones ready. Take some pictures and let people know you'll see me on Comedy Hype when you see me in person. Say, boy, I follow you on Comedy Hype. Now, if you don't like me on Comedy Hype, keep your ass moving. You can just come see the show. Keep it moving. Kick rocks, motherfucker. But if you like me on here, let's take some pictures.
Sit in the back if you don't like them. Just sit way in the back and just watch. Capone, let me come over to you. Capone, it's always hard to keep up what you have going on because I'm gonna just call you Mr. 50-man job because it's always either construction or you got a new business or shows. It's like, where's Capone? So Capone, what do you have coming up? And of course, wait, say it again.
Pierre, something. Pierre, you there Wednesday only?
Yeah,
Pierre's
only Wednesday night.
Only?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm there Friday and Saturday.
At the club?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, damn. Okay, well, I'll set them up for you. Shit.
I was supposed to have a Thursday show, but I ain't gonna lie, the numbers wasn't looking too good, so they just gave me 2 shows Friday and 2 shows Saturday.
Man, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful club, man. Kill them. But I'll set them up.
Yeah.
I'll set them up for you, boy.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll be there this weekend. That's weird. I was like, wait, I'm there.
Now, Capone, you do construction, right? You like rehab and construction. Well, be ready to remodel that damn club after I leave that. Okay, be ready. Okay, I'm tearing the bitch down. So bring your tool belt, bro.
I got you. Yeah, so I'll be there this weekend, and got a lot of things coming up, man, and I'm really, really excited about it. Just really trying to stay on this health kick. It's very, very challenging, but I'm doing my thing with it.
And I'm very proud of you. I love before we film when you have your smoothies and you tell me about your teas that you done had. So I love I love seeing the health journey continue. Now y'all tell those promoters at the Charlotte Club they could have had the full comedy show there if they had me hosting, something. Not telling no jokes, but I can just open up for the host. I can be the pre-host of the host. But as always, I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. Today was a little bit different. I'm super excited about how things are going to be moving forward. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Every Monday, you can catch Marcus Board right here for No Capital, along with the amazing analyst of Comedy Hype News Show. So we'll see you next time. And in the meantime, you heard from us. Now we want it from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Tyler James Williams? The protesters. I mean, you got a lot of things to talk about in the comments, so we'll see you in the comments. I'm your host, Symphony Thompson, and we'll see you next time.
Put it in those comments.